All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DAO Talk. This is the first DAO Talk of the new year. It is 2023. This is DAO Talk episode 29, your one-stop shop for everything DAOs. I'm Tommy.
And I'm Frisson.
Welcome back, Frisch. It was a good end-of-year wrap, but we missed you on that end-of-year wrap. Shannon was a wonderful fill-in host, but nothing comes close to the man himself. So welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. I listened to It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like DAOmiss, episode 28 of DAO Talk with Tommy and Shannon. I'm not going to lie. I think it might have been better than any of my episodes. So at a minimum, we're going to have to bring Shannon back as much as possible.
Yeah, we'll bring Shannon back for sure. It's good to have a little diversity of the hosts, especially a lot of male energy on DAO Talk. There's a lot of male energy in crypto in general.
Seriously, man, we need that female energy like just across the board.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a bro fest out here. And I'm not going to lie. There's nothing wrong with it, a good bro fest, but I feel like it's great if we could also have some nice feminine energy, like some other energy. Yeah, the more diversity, the better, please.
Absolutely, yeah. I think like most of my favorite people in crypto are women. So I don't think that's a coincidence. And it's not just because I'm a guy, a straight male. I think they're a voice of reason, and they bring a lot of clarity to the bro fest, because it's been a bro fest, I feel like, for the past 10 years. So for sure.
So it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. So welcome back, DAO Talk. I guess this is officially season 2, starting season 2. If you listen to the last episode, if you didn't, or if you did, go back, listen to it. We're not going to recap season 1 of DAO Talk. That's what the last episode was for. Maybe we'll link some of the DAO Talk recaps in the show notes, or go to daotalk.substack.com. That's where the written version of DAO Talk is. You can stay updated on everything there. But here we go. Season 2. It's 2023. It's a new year. Things feel very fresh. We're in that time between I think it feels kind of like that, but we're still in that time between Christmas or the holidays and New Year's where things are a little bit slow. We're starting to come out of that. Things are starting to pick up again. So this week, there's not a ton going on in the DAO space. So we're just going to, talk about the new year, talk about what's coming up in the next couple of months or time after that, what's happening in the space, what we're working on, what some of the best people in the space are working on, what Tally has cooking. And we'll pick it up as the thing rolls along in the next coming week. So start off with this first tweet. I feel like it's pretty encapsulating of the vibes of Twitter recently, especially coming off the on-chain summit. We got a great tweet from a user at Zach Roth, who has I think it's a Zora Orb or Zorb as his profile picture. On-chain, it's feeling very punk rock. And 15-year-old Zach with bleached spiky hair hitting NoFX and anti-flag shows is here for it. First question is, what are those words that I just said? Because I'm way too young. Maybe I just at the edge to not understand what those things mean. I understand they're probably very punk rock and anti-establishment, but can you fill me in real quick before we dive into the on-chain punk rock movement?
Yeah, I definitely am familiar with NoFX and anti-flag because I'm a crypto boomer, aka I'm older than 21. So yeah, this tweet definitely hits for me. You know what I'm saying? It hits for me across the board. Like, look, I'm trying to build cool shit on Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? Like, build some novel protocols, build some trustless DAOs, build our organizations from the ground up, leveraging the unique capabilities of Ethereum and Web3. And I don't care if it's cool. You know what? Now everyone thinks crypto has nothing going for it because FTX collapsed. I don't care about FTX. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't here for that in the first place. All right. I'm trying to build on chain with the homies, and I love this energy, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you really weren't here for all of that shit that went down. It was honestly, it was almost like movie script level timing when Frisson just pieces out and SBF collapses.
I don't want mainstream adoption. Okay. I don't want crypto to be fully integrated into the US legal system. I do want that later, but not now. The tech is not ready. It is what it is. We don't have cheap transactions yet. We have rollups on Ethereum that aren't sufficiently decentralized and also are still too expensive for like most applications of blockchain. The UX of self-custody is not even close to where it needs to be. We don't have blockchain privacy. So like the tech isn't ready yet. But the good news is the tech is being built, right? There's amazing teams working on every single one of those things. On the DAO side, you have amazing teams like Tally and others. We're going to talk about Kali later in this episode. We've been working with, a lot of other cool like DAO tooling organizations through our events and content. Like there are, a dozen plus amazing teams, Gnosis, working on how to make organizations work on chain, but it's not there yet. Like it's close. There's line of sight. There's great teams building, but we're not there yet. So I don't need to be cool. I don't, or like I want to be cool, but in like an underground way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the vibe that we should all be seeking right now. It's going to be really wholesome this year in 2023 because we're going to build cool shit together and it's going to be a vibe, but it's not going to be like, we're not going to be disappointed that FTX collapsed and now all the normies think crypto isn't cool. I don't care about that. I'm glad FTX is gone. Like, I'm sorry if you lost money, but like those people weren't building anything that was going to make a long-term difference in the crypto ecosystem anyway. So I'm glad they're gone. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's do this. Let's build.
Yeah. I feel like we've kind of bottomed in terms of maybe not price in the traditional sense of like bottoming, but socially and like professionally, the people. Maybe this is just my little bubble on Twitter, but it feels like we've kind of reached the bottom in terms of who's going to be here, who's going to wash out, who's not going to wash out. And now it's just time to like buckle down and build over the next couple years, because I'm just kind of realizing this now as I think about like the timeline. Like we always talk about how we started this in a bear market and it's been like 6-7 months and here we still are. And I remember at the beginning of it, everyone's like, these bear markets last years, right? And I'm like, we'll see. Like maybe it'll be like 6 to 8 months, but here we are. And I feel like it almost is kind of just starting, in my opinion, or like it feels that way. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like you said, like everything you just said, the little diatribe you just went on is I think a positive. Cause like we kind of talked about this yesterday off air, like the past like years have just been about all this research and what to do and what to build. And now it's time to actually put the rubber to the road and build the things and move towards, the time period where we are able to have tech that actually works and able to onboard all these people. I think all of the, motorcycles went by. I think all these projects are like onboarding the next billion people into Web3, into crypto are good and needed, but also like we don't have the infrastructure to support that yet. So we should probably build that first.
Yeah. I mean, like if you look at what's left on Tally, right? It's like all of the most mainstream adoption-y stuff that occurred in the DAO space in 2021 was more of this like community fundraising, multi-sig, ephemeral DAO, constitution DAO type things. And those things are all gone, right? Like Tally supports, Web3 organizations that want to like get rolling with the multi-sig and some off-chain voting with Tally groups. And like, there are still some of those folks using Tally, but like the main core of what's left is these like legitimately decentralized, fully on-chain on organizations and DAOs, which like in their current state are not ready for billions of people to participate in them. But I think we're going to get there, right? Like Uniswap, the UX keeps improving. Like if you've already figured out self-custody and you're kind of in that, like, you're not you're not trading like very small size because gas fees are still too high, but you're also not trading such large size that you'll just like get crushed by MEV. Like you're kind of in that like $1,000 to $100,000 trading range, right? Like Uniswap is the best place to trade almost any asset in crypto, certainly any asset that I think is relevant, right? So it's like, we see these like pockets, like Tally is legitimately like good UX for DAOs. Like you can go there and transparently see what's happening with the organization. You can easily participate. You can go and see who, if you want to delegate to someone else to participate, you can go and see their voting history, what's happening. Like it's easy to use. It feels good, right? But it's there's still like another step that's needed for mainstream adoption, and that's totally okay. Like this year is about surviving and continuing to build together. It's about surviving, but also vibing, right? Continuing to build together this like core underlying infrastructure, products, services, communities that are going to form the foundation of the next bull run.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Jumping right into Uniswap, like you just said, Uniswap has released their second wave of grants. Not Uniswap. Uniswap Foundation has released their second wave of grants. Few stats on this wave. $946,000 dispersed across 19 total grants. I don't know what the math is on that. That's what, like 50, 60K grant. 4 categories: protocol growth, research and development, community growth, and governance stewardship. Frisson, thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is super exciting. So the Uniswap DAO has had a very large treasury, $1 billion plus for a long time, but until recently, they just didn't really distribute the treasury. They didn't really have like a good process for proposing things, and a good way of moving them through the governance process, a good framework for like what types of projects would actually be interesting to kind of distribute to from the Uniswap treasury. And so they formed this Uniswap Foundation last year, where they kind of created a team that got voted in to help coordinate this process. And this is like, I think, the first big round of actual funding to happen. So we were just talking about all the cool stuff that's going to get built this year. Great list of projects here. Great list of projects here that the Uniswap DAO funded to build. So we'll have to keep an eye out on this and try to get, submit some funding from Tally as well to build some more DAO stuff to support the Uniswap ecosystem.
Yeah, this was the very controversial vote that happened months and months ago to just establish the Uniswap Foundation. So it's cool to see, months after, how it's actually coming to fruition. And now we get to see and maybe not say judge, but I guess judge is the right word of, was that a good decision? Was this, are these people that were elected to I don't even know if they were elected, if they were in charge of allocating these funds from the Uniswap DAO, if they did it correctly, and if these projects that are receiving these funds are using them to the best of their ability. I mean, just looking across, a little breakdown of who they funded, it seems very intentional and given to the right. What's the word? Right projects, right protocols. We've talked ad nauseum on this podcast of DAOs basically having their treasuries rated by projects who just submit proposals for funding and then rug pulling the entire project for 50, 60, 100K. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. 19 doesn't seem like a lot. So I think we'll be able to track it pretty easily, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on this, hopefully, because there was a lot of pushback when this was pushed through. So let's see if those same people, are able to critique and have their voices be heard moving forward. I don't know what the governance process is for the grants process. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I'm not. I know, I'm familiar with the original vote to establish the foundation and fund it, which I think, that was like a democratic, trustless process where, the funding was like actually voted in by the DAO. I think, people have questions about it because like the token distribution in the Uniswap DAO isn't perfect. Like there's entities, especially VCs, that hold a lot of power. And obviously token distribution is something that like we're going to keep working on as a space. But it was a democratic, transparent process. I don't think that like the individual allocations, so like each individual grant, is passed through an on-chain vote. I have to dig into like how that works. I think that's okay. Like at a minimum, what we want to see is the funding for the foundation be like revocable, so that, if the foundation starts like approving things that aren't, considered like valid by the DAO, they can like revoke the funding on a forward going basis. But yeah, I think on an individual basis, like the grants it's more of an off-chain process.
All right, moving along, some news that Frisson teased earlier in the episode from kaliDAO. Keep, kaliDAO's V2 protocol, is a new model for digital organizations. This is something we'll give you a pretty high-level overview on, but it's something I would definitely suggest diving into. We'll link it in the show notes, but Frisson, break it down for us.
Yeah, so kaliDAO is kind of an organization that's focused on creating DAO structures. They have this legal wrapper for DAOs where you can create like an LLC along with your DAO that kind of creates, as much like liability protection as is possible within the legal system for DAO, governors and contributors. And so, that's been their focus so far, but it looks like they're getting ready to release and have built a product called Keep, which is more the on-chain side of things for DAOs. So it's like a core set of primitives for kind of creating and representing a DAO or an organization on-chain. And so with kaliDAO, then you would have like this set of primitives that are based on I think it's EIP 1155 standard that comes with like like a core set of features that you would need for the DAO. And then you would also have like the legal wrapper that kind of provides some of that meat space protection, so that you have like a set of standards or best practices to start with, both on the on-chain and the off-chain side as a DAO. So I think this is really promising. Like Kali has an amazing team. We're close friends with Ross at Kali, who's the kind of founder and one of the key contributors at Kali. So definitely would encourage you all to check this out and see what's happening under the hood.
Yeah, we had a great episode with Ross from kaliDAO. DAOtalk interview Frisson did earlier in 2022, back when crypto legal Twitter was popping off around the UkiDAO situation. I'm sure we'll have more content from him and kaliDAO in this year. I just predict there's going to be some good legal action and regulation coming from the U.S. government in the coming months, good or bad. We will be here to cover it, talk about it, break it all down. And kaliDAO is, in my opinion, like the authority in regards to like DAO legal structures and DAO legal content, along with Kyler, who's been on the podcast before. He's pretty plugged into DAO legal Twitter. The nuances of the lawyers. I love talking to him about like every week he tells me there's some different beef that's going on with like crypto Twitter lawyers and the shit they argue about. It's pretty funny. So yeah, we'll keep you all updated on that. I would definitely go take some time to look into this, because I think in regards to like legal structures and structuring your DAO in the correct way, it's never too early to do that, because I think it's something that's not important until it is important. And once it's important, you're probably going to be fucked because you're in legal trouble. So it's boring, but it's something that's very important. And Kali's making it pretty easy to cross your T's, dot your I's, and do it the correct way. So not much else to say there. I don't know if you want to bow tie that.
No, I think it makes sense. I think we're going to see more like, I think the industry is going to coalesce around a standard for how to represent a DAO on chain. I think there's going to be a few parts, right? There's going to be this idea of like a multi-sig that's also extensible and can be represented as an Open Zeppelin governor. So that's what we kind of worked with Gnosis Guild on, to be able to have assets in a safe easily become, governor tokens that you can then use in a DAO on Tally. And so there's like, that's kind of what Kali is getting at here, is like, here's a very thoughtful smart contract that we've built that has these elements for like managing a product. It has a legal wrapper that they built. They have like an on-chain, multi-sig. And so I think we're going to see some like competition and collaboration amongst like different players. Like Tally opens up on Governor, Gnosis, Safe, Gnosis Guild, Kali, and a few others to kind of figure out what this looks like. But I think over the course of 2023 and into 2024, we're kind of going to kind of like settle as an industry on like what that starter pack is, of what the best practices are for representing a DAO. I think there's been like a lot of options out there over time, but we're going to kind of coalesce on what that looks like going forward.
And you can't talk about DAO's operations without talking about Tally. So let's end on some Tally news. Let's talk Tally. What are we shipping right now? What's the rest of the year look like? Most recently, we've had some awesome updates to the delegation experience on Tally. ENS support directly in the URL. So what that means is if you're looking for a specific delegate or your profile or something that is attached to an ENS username, all you have to do is go to tally.xyz.com/profile, and then you just type in that ENS name, and it takes you directly to that profile. Once you're at that profile, we're working on making it super, super easy to surface relevant data that you need to know about either who is delegating to you or who is delegating to someone you want to, check out. So in this particular tweet we're looking at, we're highlighting Dennison, who is one of the more active participants in DAOs. And here you can see his DAO homepage or his profile page on Tally. You can see how it's just linked in the URL to his ENS. We can check out who is delegating to him. There's notifications if it's a self-delegation, how much voting power is delegated to him or that user, what date it was delegated on, which DAO it is for, and then it's linked to that profile page. And then right at the top, we have everything nice and centered, all the relevant information you might want to see. So we're looking at received delegations. He's received 16 delegations, total tokens owned, 4,356,415 tokens owned. And his voting power is like in the 35 million range in regards to actual tokens. And then average delegation age, which is how long he's been a delegate, is around 9 months, which is pretty long in my opinion. So really awesome features coming out of Tally in terms of delegation, because we believe, that is one of the more important things that we need to be focusing on and need to be able or need to be surfacing for people to be more educated, more involved, and feel more heard in the DAO operations and DAO governance in space. Frisson, any thoughts on that?
No, you crushed it.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
You're more Tally shipping tweets to come throughout 2023. So yeah, new year, more shipping.
Yeah, something I really love about Tally and what we're doing is so much of it is guided by user feedback. And we've talked about this before on the pod, but a big part of this tweet is like, hey, these are the new features, but what else would you like to see? What else do you think is important? What do you want to see on Tally? What is important to you? And then we're continuously, we're fluid in our product and fluid in what features we want to add and what is most important to the community, because that is what matters, right? This is about making everyone feel more involved, everyone feeling like it's super easy to govern, super easy to delegate, super easy to just operate their DAO, and making it look awesome and pretty at the same time, also being super functional. So definitely more stuff coming out the rest of the year. Not everything we can talk about right now, but stay tuned. I feel like every time we record a podcast, which is every week, we have some new shit that we are highlighting on the Tally Twitter or the Tally Mirror or something. So I'm really excited for the rest of the year. Frisson, what would you say is like the thing you're looking forward to the most this year? It could be something like ETH Denver, DAO NYC 23. It could be a particular feature. It could be something more broad, just in general. But what are you most excited for? I know I have my answer.
Yeah, I'm excited about all of those things. I think in the near term, ETH Denver is going to be sick. We're going to have like a fun presence there, and be collaborating with a bunch of other DAO people through hopefully DAO Denver, which is like a sister event to DAO NYC. Kind of got some DAO city stuff happening around the world. We've talked about before, DAO Tokyo is happening pretty soon as well. So looking forward to DAO Denver, which would be like a side event during Biddle Week at ETH Denver. And I think Tally is going to have some really cool stuff to show off with our API there. And in the past, like Tally has this really cool API that creates kind of like a programmable way to represent proposals and DAOs and governance. And it's not something we have made public in the past, but we're kind of working on making that public and usable and extensible. So stoked for some people to hack on that at ETH Denver for sure.
I'm excited for all the events. ETH Denver is going to be sick. I think it's just going to be an awesome time where we don't get to meet up that often, all of our internet crew. So it's going to be really cool to just meet everyone. DAOnt YC 23 is going to be awesome. That's much later in the year. And I think I'm more excited just about like things starting to come to fruition, particularly with Content Guild, as I've talked more and kind of like not pumped it, but like gotten the word out about Content Guild more. I'm starting to realize a lot of people aren't getting involved in it because they don't feel like they have anything to contribute. And I think that is reflective of a lot of people in the space as a whole. They are inactive participants. They like to lurk on Twitter or like, passively be parts of DAOs. And I think that's primarily because they don't feel like they can contribute. So I'm really excited for particularly Content Guild and other DAOs too. Just getting more people involved, showing people the power of this new structure of work and opportunity that it allows for, usually individuals who might not have those opportunities, giving them the opportunity to create and then springboard their careers off of that. Really excited to see what happens this year. So I feel like we've laid a good foundation, and now it's time to, just continue that and keep building and keep our eyes on the prize and see what happens. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
See y'all out in the streets, the tweets.
Hell yeah.
See you on the chain, see you in Ethereum. Yeah. Let's do this.
Hell yeah. As always, go check out DAOtalk.substack.com to get the written version of each episode each week. We got a great little following over there. Stay updated on everything that'll be in your inboxes. Go subscribe. Tally's YouTube, Tally's Twitter. We release every week, every Friday. And then DAO Talk interviews will be starting up again next week. So keep an eye on your inbox for those. Otherwise, we will see you next week for DAO Talk episode number 30. Big number 30. So dirty 30. Frisson, it's been an honor. See you next week. Peace.
Peace.